Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's Lights Out.
And away we go.
Episode 6.
I didn't know. I didn't actually know.
It's definitely episode 6. So welcome back to episode 6. Thank you to all the listeners.
Yeah, thanks
to listen.
Thanks to everyone. I think we've had 125 or something total.
I'll take it. Love it.
Thank
you
you
to all those people.
Shout out to anyone who's listening now.
Yes. Well done for listening to our absolute rubbish.
Yeah, it is awful. I don't know why any of you listen to it.
No, neither do I.
No.
But it's fun to do.
It is fun
and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I am hoping you enjoy it. Hopefully you're wasting a good half an hour of your time on something that you enjoy.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to start off with a question.
Mm-hmm. Shoot.
JJ, what is the best racing game of all time?
Best racing game of all Oh, that's a hard one. Okay, I'm gonna throw a few out there.
Okay, throw a few out there.
So you've got Need for Speed Underground.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. When I was thinking of this question, I did not think about the Need for Speed games.
What
What
a game.
a game. Mate, that
On
Lotus
PS2.
Elise was a joke.
What a game.
What a
on
game.
The PS2.
When you got the Bugatti, was it the Bugatti by the end?
There was some hypercar you got at the end. I can't remember.
Yeah, mate.
But what a game.
What a game.
What a game.
Carry on, next one.
Mario Kart Wii.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Kart Wii.
That was the one that I was going to think, if you don't get it, you're an idiot.
Yeah, because I still watch Mario Kart Wii YouTube. Like, to this day.
Do you?
I watch, yeah.
But the new game's not the same as Wii.
No, I watch the Wii. They still play the Wii.
Who? Who are these people?
It's like this guy called Troy TWD or something.
Legend. I'm watching it.
Yeah, mate, it's good. It's really good.
But I bet he's like a proper nerd.
They're all like insane. They like predict when the shock's gonna happen, so they're using the right power ups.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's mad.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that one, because I was gonna. But at the end of you saying all of them, I was gonna say it doesn't matter what you just said. It's wrong. I was gonna say Mario Kart's the best one, because that's my favorite one. I've not played many, but carry on. Any others?
Burnout Paradise on the PS2. What a game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what a game.
Why? This was the best question to start off with.
Yeah.
You are the memories you are bringing back right now. It's not stuff I've thought about.
Like the crashing thing you had to do, where you just pile down a highway and crash as many cars.
How crumpled could you get the front of the car?
What a game. And
any others?
You got obviously like Gran Turismo 4. That was good. I remember I used to do 24-hour races with my dad, and we'd like leave it running overnight, but then the computer would be in like last place because it sucked.
Okay, not heard about that one, but okay.
Gran Turismo is like it's supposed to be a bit more realistic.
Okay, I've never been a Gran Turismo. I don't think I've ever played it. The
F1 game's all right. I have good memories on 2012, 2011, 2013 F1 games. I know. Am I forgetting
any others? The only one in my head was Mario Kart, and I was just waiting for you to not mention.
You were waiting for me to not mention.
Yeah, so that I could be like, haha, Mario Kart.
Yeah, I think Mario Kart.
If you had to pick one of those games to racing games for the rest of your life, you had to pick one of those.
Mario Kart.
Yes.
You can play it with friends.
100%.
Yeah. Because you can play it with friends. So I'd pick Mario Kart. 100%. Who was your go-to character?
Oh, you're either Donkey Kong or Bowser.
No.
Yes.
Funky Kong.
Which one's Funky Kong? Is that the little guy?
No, it's Donkey Kong, but he had like a red bandana and like sunglasses on. It was sick.
He was big though. You have to have a big, strong character.
Or I used to go dry bones and I used to go on a bullet bike.
I loved dry
But you
bones.
get bumped everywhere and get flung off.
Yeah, he's too weak.
Yeah. But dry bones was pretty sick.
And you always had to have a bike. Bikes were always faster than cars.
Yeah, bikes were sick. Could you do a little wheelie?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can do the wheelies.
Yeah.
And then what's the timing at the start of a race? It's 3, 2, hold the button.
Yeah.
Go. No. Oh my god.
You know, I really want to get a Wii, and now I've been wanting to get a Wii, and like because I don't know what happened to our Wii, it like disappeared. But I want to get another one and then play some.
Well, just come play at my house. I have it set up.
Okay.
It's been set up for like 10 years and hasn't moved. It's been plugged in the whole time.
Downstairs.
Downstairs. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll come.
And I'm gonna batter you.
This weekend, we're not watching the F1. We're playing Mario Kart.
Yes, we are. Oh, well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I thought that was going to be a good start.
That was a good start.
Thank you.
Well, I guess the reason, if you can't tell what we're wearing, I guess if you can't see what we're wearing, I'm wearing the colour of the team we're talking about.
You are.
And what team's that?
Williams.
In my green jumper.
Williams driving green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're wearing grey.
Grey, so I'm closest to silver. So obviously I'm Red Bull.
Yes. So, okay, so I'm Aston Martin, you're Mercedes, sort of. We're talking about Aston Martin today.
We are.
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to kick this off, or should I kick this off?
Can you kick it off with their 2022 performance?
I can talk about their 2022 performance. Okay. So, obviously everyone knows that the Constructors' Championship they didn't do very well in their Constructors.
Yeah. Do you know where they came?
They came 7th, didn't they?
Yes.
So they really struggled. Start of the season, obviously the porpoising was a big thing for everyone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a big thing for everyone, but it really hit Aston Martin hard. They were, I think in testing, they were just above Williams. Just above Williams.
I remember people saying that it's going to be between them two in last place and everyone being like, poor Seb.
Exactly.
Because they really messed it up.
Really bad. I think they had problems with the side pods, which meant the floor. They had problems with the floor as well. Do you remember anything about the side pods at all?
I know they changed it in pre-season.
They did. They scrapped it so quick at the start of the season.
But then Mercedes did that as well. But Aston Martin scrapped it because it was bad. Mercedes did it because they wanted to hide something.
Yes.
Which is funny.
Which is funny.
Because they were both bad.
They were both really bad.
But yeah, so I know they scrapped the side pods in testing. I know that didn't Lance Stroll again miss a bit of testing? I don't remember.
Did he?
I'm not 100% sure, but I know he either missed 2021 or 2020 or 2022 as well as 2023.
Wait, hold on, but Vettel, start of 2021, was sick, wasn't he?
2022.
Oh, 2022. Sorry.
He had
2022.
COVID in 2022.
Was it COVID in 2022?
Yeah, he missed the first race at least. I think he came back in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who drove for him?
Who drove for him? I actually don't know who drove for him. Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Hulkenberg.
How did he get on?
Nico Hulkenberg.
How did he get on? Did he do all right? I mean, he's a consistent driver. There's a reason why he's back in now in 2023.
Yeah.
He's consistent.
Because he's consistent. But I mean, stepping in last minute for a driver with COVID, I don't think he did very well. I can't remember.
No, neither can I. So he... Okay, so anyway, start of the season, really struggled. And by the end of the season, the evolution of that car over the year was quite good, actually. Yeah. Considering how far behind they were. By the end of the year, they did all right, to be fair. And I think they still were 7th, but they were just kicking on 6th.
They drew on points with Alpha.
But what was the reason?
So Alpha got there because I think it had like a 5th place or something. Or maybe, yeah.
Say that again.
So Alpha had a 5th place. Alfa Romeo.
Yeah. But
so they won on point countback. So it's like...
I see.
So if you're drawing on points, it's then whoever has the highest finish. Then let's say...
In that last race?
Over the season. Whoever had the highest finish.
I see.
So let's say it's like 2007 where Alonso and Hamilton drew on points. Mm-hmm. And they both obviously won races because they came second in the championship that year.
Yeah.
Then it goes into how many wins you got. Then if you're drawing on how many wins you've got, it's how many second places you got.
I see. Yeah.
And it goes down to the more you draw.
It's never going to be that close, is it? Like, as in, like, it's not going to be like...
You're never going to go all the way down to like 10.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But they did draw on points, and they had to go to a number of wins. But Hamilton had one more win.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. So Aston Martin, stronger end to the season. The car changed though, didn't it? I'm pretty sure. Was it in Spain? It came out that they were the green Red Bull.
Yeah.
No, and what was it? They were drinking cans of...
Yeah. So at Spain, they brought out a new side pod. And I think just a whole new package.
Okay.
And it looks exactly like the Red Bull.
Cheeky.
Obviously like an older version of it, but like the Red Bull. And then all the Red Bull on their pit walls, like Adrian Newey and everyone, they're all drinking green Red Bull cans.
Love that. That is...
Which is hilarious.
That's great. That's just banter. Top banter.
Great banter.
Love that. Why not? So what was it that was in Spain, you said?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was in Spain.
And their season didn't really do very well until the end of the season where they started really racking in the points.
Yeah.
Whereas Alpha really dropped off, which is why they were pretty close at the end.
It's so funny though, because obviously that team has a bit of a... What's the word? It's got a history
Yeah.
of not really sticking to its own ethos, is it?
Yeah, it really does have a history, doesn't it?
So it was the Racing Point, wasn't it, that copied the
Yeah.
W11?
Yeah, so the Racing Point
Yeah,
copied so if it was 2019, it'd be the W10.
the W10.
Yeah. So in 2019, seasons, they get to pre-season.
Are you sure it was a W10? I thought it was...
Yeah, 2019 would be the W10.
And 20... Oh, okay. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. Because the 2010 was the first car they brought out. That was the W01.
Got you.
So
Perfect. That's a
just
good
always-
way of remembering
Yeah,
now.
just always add one.
I'm going to use... Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm going to use that. Carry
Yeah.
on.
So 2019, they come into pre-season testing, and their car is identical to the old 2019 Mercedes.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. It's crazy that they actually. It was like because they used to have a high rake car. When you know what rake is, right? It's just
Yeah.
how much the car's rear, how high it is compared to how low the fronts are.
Yep. Which creates what?
Well,
In
downforce, I guess.
Yes, downforce, but would that be a more pointy front end, or would it be would it be more unsteery, oversteery? Do you know?
It depends on how it works with the rest of the package, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you have a more low rate car,
Mm-hmm.
you're more dependent on the floor of the car to generate the downforce. If you have a bit more of a high rate car, it's a bit more about the overall airflow over the side pods and the inlets and everything
Okay.
to generate the downforce.
Okay.
So
Interesting question. I'd like to know more about that. That's something we should probably look up later.
yeah, we could probably look it up. Yeah,
I'd love to know that.
but that is why low rate cars are affected more by any change in the floor, which is why in 2021, when the FIA brought in a rule to cut like a massive chunk of the floor out, that's why it affected Mercedes and Racing Point.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why they were the only two cars affected, because they were the only two cars with a low rate car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's new. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But that does take me on to a good point, actually. So 2019, they obviously copied the car.
Yep.
But then you're like, where did it go wrong? And I think where it went wrong was they just didn't understand the car. Imagine you're taking a maths test and
Yep.
you copy all your friends' answers all the time.
Yeah.
It's fine if you see that same question come up, but if you have that theory of question but in a different scenario, you're not going to know how to apply that theory to a different scenario because you haven't understood it. You've just copied your mate all the time.
You couldn't have put that better.
And you can't copy your mate when it's 2021 and you haven't even seen what your mate's done.
Exactly.
And that's why they kind of failed.
Genius.
Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it.
So, obviously, they just didn't understand the car and they've just kind of copied.
So that's 2 times they've copied a car
Yeah.
in the last 3 years.
Yeah. But this
Genius.
But this second time makes a little bit more sense because the other time was literally just like they have parts from Mercedes, so they do this. This is like they've brought in Dan Fallows, who's their technical director. He's come from Red Bull, so he understands the philosophy in Red Bull and understands that design. He's done his career there. He understands why they do things. And it's not like they have Honda parts in the car and they're just doing what Red Bull has done. They have Mercedes parts in the car, but they've used the Mercedes parts to then meld that together with the Red Bull concept.
I see.
So that's what I think is a bit different this time.
Okay.
Is because the fact that it shows a bit more understanding. They've taken one concept, they've taken another concept, they've put it together and made it work. So that gives me hope.
It's clever.
Yeah. And another thing that gives me hope, actually, that they're not going to falter this season is, I mean, they've said that 75% of the car is going to change. I don't know if it will.
Seems a lot.
That's a lot.
Seems a lot.
Yeah. It's probably way too much. It's probably just PR nonsense to get the hype around Aston. They always say stuff like this.
Yeah.
Well, all teams always say stuff like this to kind of generate good PR because they'll get pressures from the overheads. But
Extra news, extra coverage.
extra noise around them,
Extra noise.
extra
Yeah.
hype. Yeah,
100%.
So, but they will change. I think at least like 50% of the car will change.
Okay. That's
Maybe
still a
like
lot.
20% of what you can see, and a
I
lot
see.
more what you can't see.
Okay. So you reckon a lot more kind of floor work and
Yeah,
stuff under the floor
yeah,
that you don't normally see.
yeah. I think so. There's stuff you won't see inside internals,
Internal.
slight tweaks to suspension, just improving the working range of that car.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I think will happen throughout the season.
Okay.
And they also benefit from that because they finished 7th.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Explain.
Because they get more wind tunnel time.
They do. Which is lucky.
MFD time.
Which is lucky, I think.
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel
you had
like
an interesting theory that maybe they did that on purpose.
I thought that you never know. They might have gone. We'll go on.
Finessed it.
Go on. Well, yeah, we finessed it. We'll take a 7th. Oh no! What are we going to do?
What a shame.
We're going to come back absolutely flying next year. So, do you actually know how much extra time they get in the
I
tunnel?
don't know the exact.
Not the
It'd be
exact.
maybe 2.5%. I think.
Okay, so it's a good chunk.
I think Williams get 112.5. Maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me.
Okay.
Maybe 107.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
But
Genius. If they did that on purpose, genius.
Yeah. It would have had to. If they retired both cars in the final race of the season, I would have believed you.
Could you imagine? Yeah, but everyone would be thinking, "Oi, there's something fishy going on there.
cheating.
There's
Yeah.
something fishy going on."
Yeah.
So that was probably a smart idea not to do that and still
Probably,
race.
yeah. There is a lot of money in 6th and 7th place, so
What, as in like a huge increase in money?
every
in
position
funding?
you gain up, you get more money. Lawrence Stroll's
Okay.
a billionaire, but he's not going to be like,
I won't take
I don't
it.
want this money. You know?
Yeah.
It all helps the team. So,
100%.
but that is a big benefit for them.
Sounds it.
Yeah.
You actually made a good point to me the other day about you feel like the caps.
The cost cap.
The caps. The cost cap.
Mm.
So, explain to me what you meant by you feel like it was hindering certain teams other than others.
Yeah, so
Do you feel like it's not actually as level playing field as you would think if you consider that everyone gets this roughly the same amount?
sort of. So sort of what I mean is cost cap benefits teams that don't have spending power. So it brings the bottom of the field closer to the midfield.
Okay.
I think it hinders the gap at the top. The
Okay.
budget cap, not the aero testing cap. I think that's good.
Okay.
But I think the budget cap hinders because I think that in the past, if there were issues with a car,
Yeah.
like the top 3 teams, top 4 teams, maybe McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull,
Yeah.
they just launch money at it. And they just launch as much money as they could at it.
Yeah.
Do as many different things that they could possibly do.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Because why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? If you've got the money, if you've got the
Yeah.
funding, do it. Because, even if it's a few extra million, if that few extra million just makes that tiny difference,
Is
you're
worth
going to
it.
do it. It's worth it.
So you take a team like, let's say Mercedes. It's 2020. They have the fastest car. All they can do in that season is just refine that concept further and further and further.
Okay.
So you can keep spending money, but you're going to get less and less incremental gains per amount you spend. Whereas, let's say in 2020, Ferrari didn't have a great season because of their engine.
Mm-hmm.
They can just fly money at that, and the gains they're going to be making per pound of value they're getting are going to be greater. So if you don't cap how much they're spending, then if they just spend $1 billion, let's say, they won't spend $1 billion on a car development through one season anyway.
Do you not think they'll ever get to that point?
I don't think a team will ever spend $1 billion. I think that's a bit over. But you know what I mean?
A bit too much. You think
Yeah.
that's a bit too?
But
far?
like, so if Red Bull spend $1 billion and Ferrari spend $1 billion, then the gains at which Red Bull are making at the end of that billion, so basically the final pennies they're spending,
Yep.
are going to be so much less than the gains Ferrari are making at that final $1 billion they're spending. However, if you cap how much they can spend and they only spend 150 million, then Red Bull are still going to be making larger gains on their car, and Ferrari will also be making even larger gains on their car. But the difference between the amount of gains they're making is going to be a lot less because of where it is in the curve for the diminishing returns. Really, Red Bull are getting. So when you're capping how much they can spend at 150 million, you're sort of stopping Ferrari or Mercedes close that gap to Red Bull quicker than if you'd not stopped that spending and just let them spend as much as they want, because then they can take advantage of when Red Bull's gains are a lot less, if that does make sense.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
You just okay. No, that makes sense. So, is there anything you would say? Is there any way that you feel like is a better way of doing it?
Yeah.
Like you say, I think you said about the aero cost.
I think the aero restrictions and wind tunnel time is really good.
Would you not give lesser teams the winning teams less money, and as you incrementally go down the order,
you give them more money.
Give them slightly more money.
Yeah,
each time,
I think that's better.
So that they make the gap.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Okay.
The only thing which makes that a bit harder is the fact that, but I think this is the best solution. But I think that the worst teams also generally have the less money. So they could have a lot more to spend, but they might not actually even be able to spend that much money.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I see.
Okay. But I think that's the best way to do it, would be to have the teams. So let's say if Mercedes was one, they have the least amount of money to spend.
Yeah.
And if Williams was last, they have the most money to spend.
I love how Williams is always just put last. I mean,
it wasn't always like that.
It wasn't, but it is at the moment. Yeah. But it is funny that every single time we mention the bottom of the pack, we're like, Williams. Yeah. I mean, it is true, always but Williams. Do you know what? Let's stick Red Bull down there. Go on.
Okay.
If Red Bull were at the bottom, if Red Bull were right at the bottom down there.
What was this, like 2006?
Yeah. You know, when they were rubbish.
Well, they were rubbish.
When they who did they, what were before Red Bull? What team was it?
It was Jaguar. In green. Like
no
I'm wearing.
way was Jaguar in F1.
Yeah.
In what year? 2000?
Right, Jaguar was there until 2005.
No way. See,
2004, sorry. Then Red Bull joined in 2005.
See, I didn't know this. I haven't been a fan for that long. Actually, then again, you probably didn't know that when you were
I had a little toy Jaguar
6.
Formula 1 cars.
Did you?
Yeah.
What colour green did you say?
Yeah, green.
That
like dark green, like this green I'm wearing now. Same green as Aston Martin.
Is it actually like a British racing green though?
It is a British racing green.
I guess it is a
proper
British
racing green.
It's a British brand.
So there was Jaguar. I had a Jordan car, which was in yellow. I had a Ferrari.
Obviously.
What else did I have? I think that was it. I think that was all I had.
You found something very recently on the internet that you were desperate to buy. Would you like to tell? Would you like to tell the people what that is? Because I've told him to spend that money.
Yeah. Did you know what's funny? I told my manager at work about this,
Go on.
And he was like, "If I hit a certain commission target this month, then I have to buy it."
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. Do you know how cool it would be? Tell everyone what it is. Oh, it's so cool.
There's a really
Rachel was like, no.
Everyone has told me no. Apart from but okay, so this is actually going to open up a pretty good, interesting debate in my opinion. Okay, so there's a 2020, so 2020 the W11 Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton's car, made out of carbon fiber that was used in the race that he won the world championship in Turkey, which is my favorite race ever of him. And it's a scale model, and they use the Mercedes facilities, the CAD designs, to actually hand make the car.
Why have you not bought it? Why are you? What are we doing? Why are we sitting here doing this podcast instead of buying this?
It's 900 quid. But
I don't care. It's worth it. It's so worth it.
I know, it's so cool.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
And by the way, even though we are Lewis fans, obviously that is super cool. That would be so sick with anyone. Verstappen's car, with anyone.
Yeah.
I'd even have it from Williams. I really would. We could just hate on Williams again. But like
Williams.
I maybe wouldn't spend 900 quid on a Williams.
Do you know what you could do? You can just get like a little like blue cotton ball, put Duracell battery on the top, and you got a Williams.
And if you blow it,
go as fast.
It'll go as fast. Because anyway.
Yeah, this is so funny because Logan Sargent's your person to be the like surprise good shock of the season.
Yep, sticking by that. I'm sticking by that. Anyway.
But yeah, so my manager was like,
"Yeah,
you have to talk about this in the podcast." And I was like,
"Did he say that?"
I was like, "There's no way it's going to come into conversation," and it has.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, we are big F1 fans, but I think that it is a pretty cool piece of history, and 100%. It's only going to go up in value.
100%.
But this brings me on to an interesting point. So I said to Rachel that I would give up like doing social things for like a year, let's say. And if I put all that money aside...
Hold on a minute. Hold on. What? Say that again? You would give up every social situation for a whole year?
This might have been hyperbole.
Oh my gosh.
But but the point I'm trying to make is like I would give up like nights out and stuff for a whole year, if I put that money aside and put it into this car, that the money that I would save from that and put into the car is more valuable to me than instead of buying this car, spending every week on going out. And she was like,
but then again, you would only need to spend. This is terrible, but sometimes you can go on nights out. We're in Brighton, if you guys are wondering as well. So it's drink is expensive down here.
Let's say an average night out, you're probably spending 100 quid.
I reckon I'm spending more.
Really, I'm trying to like be a bit more.
I reckon I'm on like 150 odd quid on like a good night out. So like, as in, I've started, 6 or 7 o'clock. I'm there till early morning.
It's a lot of money.
I reckon I'm probably spending 150.
So like, what's that? 6 nights out?
It's probably about 6 nights out.
900 quid.
But then that means the rest of the year you can go out.
Yeah. I'd give up 6 nights out, 100%.
Oh, any day.
I'd give up 9 nights out. And I'm a very sociable person.
You are.
Yeah.
You're out all the time.
Yeah. And I would give it up for that.
I would too. To be honest, I don't go out that often these days anyway.
But Rachel thought that was weird. She's like, but why wouldn't you want to spend quality time? And I'm like, it's because I'm so passionate about F1. Like, I'm so passionate about the sport. Like, these sort of like models and stuff are a lot more like precious to someone like me. Yeah. Whereas like, if you're not passionate about the sport, I was like, I don't know what girls do. So I was like Zara's pretty passionate about F1.
Yes, of course.
Zara. So I'm sure she'd be similar, where she'd want to get, if she could get like a little Sebastian Vettel Red Bull RB13.
That would be so cool. The Max one, she'd love a Max one.
And she prefers Vettel, so she'd actually, but she'd love a Max one as well.
She'd love a Max one.
Yeah, like
I didn't know that. Why did she not wear Vettel colours in Hungary?
She wore like a Vettel t-shirt.
Did she?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a heavy weekend. Yeah. It was great. Yeah, do you know what I don't understand?
What?
And this is women. I don't understand this about women.
Is this going to be wildly sexist?
No, I don't think so. Handbags.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me.
They're handy.
They're handy.
Yeah.
They are handy. But you know what else is handy? A Sainsbury's plastic bag. They're very
You're not
handy.
going to carry us.
You cannot spend hundreds hundreds of pounds on a bag that can only fit your phone and the purse.
Yeah.
No.
But they don't have pockets in their stuff.
Their
trousers, I mean. I forgot the word for trousers.
In their stuff. No, they don't. I agree. That's why a bag can be handy. But I still feel like if you're going to have a bag, have a proper bag. You don't need to spend hundreds of pounds.
No, it's fashion, right? It's like the same as like when you have like a pair of really expensive Jordans. It's a pair of shoes. Walk about in them.
Everybody knows how expensive shoes are, for one. And two,
everyone knows how expensive handbags are.
They were only 250 quid.
Only?
Yeah, only.
250
quid? Yeah. Okay, name me a pair of shoes that aren't like less than... Okay, they were expensive. Okay.
It's like double the price of any of the shoes I have.
What shoes?
That's like double my Doc Martens.
Doc Martens are way more expensive than Jordans.
No, they're not. I paid like 150.
Wait, which one? What are Doc Martens again? Are they the big black ones?
Big blues. Yeah.
Oh no, what am I thinking of? Whatever the McQueens. What are they called?
Oh, Alexander McQueen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's designer. But I don't get that. What's wrong with a girl buying a handbag? What's wrong with a boy buying a handbag?
There's nothing wrong with anyone buying a handbag.
Yeah.
It's about the price of that handbag.
But it's scalable. Like you can get like a £20 handbag.
Perfect. Get me that.
But if you
get me that, and I'll wear it. It'll be great.
That's like saying, your expensive Gucci necklace you have on.
That is sentimental. My family got me that.
I don't care. It's the same thing. Your family could have got you a £20 silver chain.
No, but
it's still sentimental.
But this is the one I liked. This is the one I liked.
You're such a hypocrite.
I'm a hypocrite. He told me. I'm very sorry about anyone.
You take all of that.
He, she, whoever you are, buy a handbag. Yeah. Make it expensive as you want. I'm now on your side.
Good. See? Humbleness.
Okay. I'll take it. Put my hands up. I was wrong. I'm a hypocrite.
Do you know what I would take it and put my hands up?
Go
on. I was wrong about Aston Martin at the start of the season.
What do you mean?
I was wrong because I thought that the hype was a bit too much over them.
However, do you think they're going to stay as strong as this the whole way through?
I'm sticking with my prediction of Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston. But I think it's a...
Constructors.
I would not bet any money on my word.
Yeah. If that was on the bookies, If that was at the bookies, you would not bet that.
No,
Okay.
you're probably getting like quite good odds if you did want to bet on it. Because
Yeah,
it's probably
yeah.
not going to go ahead.
That's a good point.
But I'm going to stick with it because I'm stubborn.
You are stubborn.
But I will admit I was wrong about Aston Martin. I really didn't think that they'd have that much pace. I was quite surprised at how much pace they had.
It was quite a surprise in testing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, whoa, where has this pace come from?
It was sort of a bit like, wow.
Yeah.
It's just kind of come out of the blue.
Yeah. Like everyone was like, Red Bull are at the top. Shock horror. Yeah. Nobody cares. Well, no, but you know what I mean. Like, obviously, people, but like, it was just guaranteed. Everyone knew that was going to happen. Yeah. And it was. We didn't even need to see testing, so that was going to happen. They're flying. Mercedes and Ferrari were always a little bit kind of in the air, depending on how their winter went. You know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Aston Martin was a complete like anomaly. They were like, do you know what I mean? It was like, so that's why there's been so much news around it. How they've just got so much pace.
Crazy pace, crazy pace.
Crazy speed.
Crazy
and it's good.
pace at it was a sustained lap time. It was the lap time that impressed me the most, actually. The amount they were able to push the tyres. I mean, I should have thought about it more, and it's easy to say this in hindsight, but everyone knows Bahrain's a very tyre-hungry track. And I knew Ferrari coming into it were going to have deg issues. So I think I said in that podcast, I was like, Ferrari going to drop back because of deg.
Yep.
But I should have looked at practice closer and realised that Mercedes were also going to have deg issues.
By the way, he's saying deg, that means tyre degradation.
Yes.
Just for those who don't know. Yeah, just
for
the people like me that took a second to go, what? Oh, I see what you mean now. Yeah. Carry on.
So you do usually see like quite a big difference in teams because of you're managing tyre degradation, so the teams that can do it. Whereas we're going to go to Saudi, it's not as bad on deg. I think we should see a bit of a closer race. I hope.
I hope.
Yeah. And then like you saw how Lando Norris, once he pitted and didn't have to bother looking after his tyres, do you remember he was keeping up with Lewis and Alonso? He was like right behind them for like lap after lap after lap.
Yeah. However, he'd been in the pits 5 times by that point.
Yeah.
So that was not great.
Yeah.
Poor McLaren, stinky. They're like last year's Aston Martin. Their roles are reversed.
Yeah. But what's funny as well? Mercedes have a stake in McLaren, and Mercedes have a stake in Aston Martin.
Yes, I know about the Aston Martin one. I didn't know about
they used McLaren. So do you remember McLaren used to be McLaren Mercedes?
Of course they did. And then they made that McLaren Mercedes
switch to McLaren Honda in 2015, and then they after a long Honda then Renault stint, and then came back to Mercedes.
I didn't know that.
But it's no longer McLaren Mercedes, it's McLaren with a Mercedes engine in the car. Whereas now Aston Martin...
Mercedes Wait, McLaren don't do their own engines?
No, Mercedes do. Do you think McLaren did their own engines?
I thought McLaren did their own engines.
No, McLaren have Mercedes engines. So
wow, I've been very wrong about that.
So Mercedes came back into the sport through supplying engines to McLaren, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then they bought the customer team Brawn and became a full works team.
Yes, of course.
And then, so let's actually, if you go to they had that all the way up to 2014. In 2015, McLaren made the switch to Honda engines. Disastrous.
Terrible.
Then
Honda are just generally in F1 pretty disastrous at the moment.
They just make the wrong calls.
They just keep making the wrong calls.
But they have like one of the best engines on the grid, to be fair to them.
Honda make great engines. They're just
really bad at timing.
Yeah, timing is poor.
Their timing's poor. And then McLaren then went to Renault, and then they then switched from Renault to Mercedes again. So they basically just wasted like a big chunk of years when they could have just stuck to Mercedes.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Speaking of engines, I've heard a rumour.
Oh yeah.
The rumour that I've heard is that this season, because Mercedes have a 20%, I think it was 20% stake in Aston Martin, there is a possibility.
20%.
20%,
okay.
Roughly, I think.
Okay.
It might be slightly more, slightly less.
Yeah.
It's roughly 20%. Because they have a 20% stake in Aston Martin, if Aston Martin keep going at the rate they're going, which sounds likely, so in the past, Mercedes engines that have gone to Aston Martin have always been their kind of not their 100% engines. There's obviously still work to a very high level, but there's very small margins. Mercedes have kept their 100% guaranteed engines that they think are perfect, and given Aston Martin their maybe secondary engines. But yes, so back to it. There is a rumour that if Aston Martin keep doing well, that might flip.
See,
It's a rumour.
I don't think that that's the case. I really don't agree with that rumour.
Okay.
Because I don't think that it just doesn't make sense for the whole Mercedes brand.
Okay.
Because AMG are part of Mercedes, and even though AMG do the engines, it's part of Mercedes. And it doesn't make sense to me that the brand would risk their own brand image of having not the best Mercedes car on the grid by giving a better engine to Aston Martin.
It sounds silly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is a rumour.
But you've seen this on reputable sources, haven't you?
I can't remember why I saw it.
It was GP Blog.
GP Blog.
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, they're called GP, and they're a reputable source.
Okay, so this is just what I've heard. It's not definite. It's not definite. I don't really know if that's definitely going to happen, but it's a rumour. And like you say, if it was me and I was Mercedes, I wouldn't be doing that. Why would I give my 100% engines?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
My favoured engines.
You give the Pierre de Resistance engine to your own car.
And absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think there'll be anywhere in the contract that says that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting to mention.
Yeah,
anyway.
Interesting as well.
Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. Rachel's questions. That was terrible, wasn't it?
It's like such a little giggle.
So bad. Very cringy, really terrible. But anyway, we're on to Rachel's question. What is Rachel's question? Go for it.
So Rachel's question was, what do drivers do when they retire?
Interesting.
And I think it's kind of funny because obviously Alonso's really old. So
Vettel's just retired.
Vettel's just retired. I actually want to ask you, we'll answer this question first. So when drivers retire, I don't know, they either go to their family. You seem to think that they just party non-stop. Because
back in the day, drivers were, supposedly the stereotype was that drivers and they were just mad. They were party animals. They were out every night in the clubs, in the town, just absolutely going mad.
Yeah.
But you told me that that's not really the case.
Yeah, James Hunt used to, Nigel Mansell used to.
I can imagine Daniel Ricciardo doing that.
Yeah. Sergio Perez loves to party.
Perez? Oh, that'd be, yeah. Can you imagine having a... Actually, would Perez actually be a good person to go out for a party?
Perez goes out with Lewis Hamilton a lot.
Do they?
They used to. I don't know if they do anymore.
Okay, now that they're enemies.
Yeah.
Even though they've always been enemies, but extra enemies now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton will obviously go out and he'll continue he'll do something in fashion, wouldn't he? But loads of drivers now, like Nico Rosberg goes with his family, Vettel going with his family.
Magnussen's got a family now.
Yeah.
Very different guy, I think.
You have punditry. You have like Jenson Button being a pundit.
Punditry, that's a great one to go into.
Martin Brundle, Corinne Chandhok, Paul di Resta. So you don't even have to be good.
That is savage. You don't even need to be good at the sport to be a good pundit.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's your favourite pundit?
Who's my favourite pundit? I like a bit of Jenson Button here and there, but I feel like he's a bit one-dimensional now. He sort of says the same things over and over.
Okay.
Martin Brundle's probably the most consistently... No, you know what? Corinne Chandhok. He always does good breakdowns. Or Jolyon Palmer. Jolyon Palmer does a great breakdown after every race, actually. I like Jolyon Palmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think he's good. Who's yours?
Natalie Pinkham.
I wonder why.
Yeah, she's really great.
To be fair, she is an unreal,
absolutely
really, really good pundit.
She's a great pundit.
She gets the best she does really well in interviews, in my opinion. Like, she can really get a lot out of the drivers.
Absolutely. She's great. No, there's nothing wrong with. I'm just making the joke because I find her fairly attractive.
Yeah,
but she is
also
genuinely...
really knowledgeable about F1 as well.
Yeah, she's great. She's
so
really,
it's
really great.
Doubly attractive.
Doubly attractive.
Do you know who sucks?
Go on.
Paul di Resta. Awful driver.
I knew you were going to say
pundit.
that. I knew you were going to say that.
Awful driver, even worse pundit. How could you possibly be a worse pundit than you are driver when you're Paul di Resta?
Oh, that's so funny. I knew you were going to say that.
Nico Rosberg's good. Do you know he beat Lewis Hamilton in the same machinery in 2016?
I did.
Oh.
Yes, I did know
I
that.
don't think he's mentioned it.
But, I mean, fair play to him. Well played. He was, I mean, they didn't like each other. They really didn't like each other at the end. Yeah.
But yeah, talking about retirement, what do you think Alonso will do when he retires?
Probably crawl back into his cave that he's come out of.
Spanish cave.
Yes, a Spanish cave. Just gone, goodbye, everyone. And then he'll crawl into his cave.
He'll somehow unage.
Yeah.
He'll become 37 again.
Yeah.
And then come back out and do a couple more years in F1.
Exactly. He'll get bored in his cave.
Yeah.
And he'll come back out as a reborn 37-year-old.
Yeah. He might move. He might go again for the Triple Crown, actually, because I know he tried IndyCar for a bit. It wasn't very successful.
Oh, got him. Which is very weird.
Yeah.
You'd think that he'd just fly in an
You think
IndyCar.
So? How far do you think he is off a retirement?
How old is he now? Exactly, do you know? Is he 40? 41?
41, I would say.
I'm going to guess 2 years. What do you think?
Why 2 years?
Surely he can't last that much longer. Your body, your reflexes, your mind must come to a point where it just can't hack it. 41, let's say he's 41, by the time he's retired, he's 43 going on 44. That for any sport, apart from maybe golf. So yeah, any sport, that is a great age to get to in any sport.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
I think 3 years. And this year is...
So you reckon he'll be between 44 and 45 years old?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think that this year is their, wow, exciting. They've got a chance. Next year is their title push year. If he wins the title, he retires. If he doesn't win the title, even if he wins the title in his second year, he goes for another one. And if he doesn't win, he definitely retires. If he doesn't win the title in his second year, unless Aston Martin are again fighting for a title, if they're not, he'll retire because he'll get frustrated. That's my opinion. He has a 2-year contract.
That does make a lot of sense to me.
I think he'll do a 1-year extension after next year.
Okay.
And then he'll retire.
I'll tell you what, I'll agree with you with that one. I'll agree with you and we'll say 3 years.
Yeah.
If it goes any longer, I mean, it's amazing that he's at the age he is now doing it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. What an athlete and what a champion to keep going.
Yeah.
And he must love
At
it.
such a high level. To be the third best driver in the grid.
Yeah.
It's pretty unreal.
It's unbelievable. Right. And experience only comes knowledge. So fair play to him.
Yeah.
Love that. Any added bits we need to...
No, I think that's all I've got to say about Aston Martin, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed.
I very much enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
This was great.
This was good fun.
This was really good fun.
Anyway, it's lights out.
Take care.
Peace.